You got a Pac-12 matchup this week with a lot of implications. Oregon goes to Utah. Utah coming off a solid win against USC. Kind of surprised everybody. I was, in fact, on USC last week thinking they'd bounce back, but Utah is still pushing it without Cam Rising. They're doing really, really well. Their only loss this year is to number 19th ranked Oregon State, or at the time they were 19th ranked. But, Pac-12 title contention implications for both of these teams in this game that kind of feels like a championship game in itself. Oregon, their only losses to Washington in that thriller at Washington. So, this is it, man. This is a big time game between these two. Utah's 4.5-point underdog at home. 52.5-point total on some books. So, first reaction at that line, let me hear about it.
I jumped all over Oregon. I saw Circa posted theirs. I think Oregon -6. I like this anything south of a touchdown. I think what Dan Lanning has done for the Oregon Ducks this season, they just look like the most complete Pac-12 team. And I feel like we talk about it every week. I know we do on our show about just, how important these games are for the Pac-12, because ultimately I think they may cannibalize each other, but the one team that I think could come out of this and still have a shot at the playoff is Oregon. So I just not buying into the Bryson, whatever his last name is, for Utah being the quarterback. I just think Oregon's going to be too powerful. They're not going to be able to contend with the scoring. Utah won't. And that was the biggest question mark for USC last week, and why ultimately stayed away from trying to bet USC -7 in a bounce back spot, because their defense still can't stop anybody. And it's bad when your defense makes Utah's offense look good. And that's what they did. I don't think Oregon's going to allow that to happen for Utah. I think this is going to be a pretty easy game for Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I love Oregon. If you can get it at 4.5, I do see it steaming up a little bit. The public's starting to come on them a little bit as well. I know it's few and far in between where we're looking at a Pac-12 matchup and where this is a defensive bout, because that's what it is. And it's right now Utah sits with the fifth best overall success rate on the defensive side of the ball. Oregon 37th. Oregon is really, really good at stopping both the run and the pass in comparison to a lot of the other Pac-12 teams. So again, I think that people will be surprised by the amount of defense that will actually go on in this game. The edge that I think Oregon has is the offense. Obviously, they're known for their offense. Bo Nix is in his 10th year, it feels like. So he's been there for a while. They're second overall in overall offensive success rate on that team, especially on the passing game. They're sixth overall. So they actually don't have a running game. They use the short pass as a substitute for their running game. But nonetheless, I think they will find a lot of success in the air against this Utah team, and I think they'll be able to pace them. I don't think Bryson Barnes is going to keep Utah in this game on the offensive side of the ball. I think, in a defensive match like this where both teams kind of look equal on that side of the ball, I'm going to take the one who has the edge on the offensive side of the ball. So totally agree with you. Oregon, anything under a touchdown,